Our motivation for this report comes from our love of learning and technology and our career plans of working in the IT field. The purpose of our report is to provide a better understanding of what IBM and competitors are doing in terms of big data and analytics and security intelligence, and how this will affect us in the world we live in. From talking to people, we found that most people don't have a very good understanding of what big data analytics or security intelligence is, or how it could potentially affect them. So our goal is to help bridge this knowledge gap with our video. Since the last part of the 20th century, technology has been revolutionizing the human society and the way it functions. In many ways, we believe that the world is destined towards having such powerful systems in place. Just as cell phones started at 1G in the 1980s, which then grew to 2G using digital networks, and then 3G and finally 4G, in order to accommodate for the massive increase in usage and requirements by the users. We believe that big data analytics and intelligence platforms are a very similar move, but for technology and systems that are used by big corporations and industries. According to CEO of Google, Eric Schmidt, it took 2 days in 2011 to generate the same amount of data that was generated from the dawn of civilization to the year 2003. This graphic illustrates the magnitude of data produced in the world according to IBM experts. All this data is being produced and stored. The conglomeration of all this information is what we call big data. What is big data? Big data is defined as a collection of data from traditional and digital sources inside and outside a company that represent a source for ongoing discovery and analysis. The analysis and handling of this data extracts valuable information about consumers, processes, and the market in order to thrive in an extremely competitive world. Usually a product of cloud network system, big data includes both unstructured and structured data. The magnitude of its characteristics is measured by volume, velocity, and variety, also known as the 3 V's. However, these three magnitudes define the challenges of big data. The biggest problem of this technology is not only the difficulty of handling the big volumes of data, but also the performance needed to run these systems, and the security and privacy issues that come up from the implementation of this technology. The biggest problem with the gigantic volumes of data is not only the difficulty of handling it and the performance needed to run big data systems, but also the security and privacy issues that arise from the implementation of this revolutionizing technology. The magnitudes of the vectors are so big that infiltrating harmful software, introducing wrong information, and altering existing data becomes not a big challenge to attackers. The velocity and variety also creates many forensic problems. Since the source of the incoming information is as vast as the amount of information coming in, security certificates and metadata about information to authenticate and authorize become vast and easily disguisable. Since the variation of the type of data that is stored is massive, privacy becomes a great issue. Private information becomes handy to business in order to make important decisions, and they use it if they have it. That includes geographical whereabouts, situational factors, financial information, and more. The latest trend of the use of big data is on the security aspect, mostly on big data systems. RSA experts expect the big data to attain the dominant role in the security of systems. For the end of 2013, many security organizations, including governments and private companies, will deploy solutions, big data, in their security operations centers in order to monitor threats and discover vulnerabilities using advanced analytics. IBM Big Data Platforms. IBM, which is headquartered in Armonk, New York, was the biggest vendor of big data solutions in 2012, recording a total of $1.3 billion only from products and services related to this technology. IBM offers different solutions that address from small to large companies and supplies clients with all the tools needed to successfully utilize big data technology, For example, IBM InfoSphere includes InfoSphere Big Insights and InfoSphere Smart Analytics System. IBM Security Framework includes IBM Security Intelligence with Big Data and InfoSphere Guardium. IBM Security Framework. IBM Big Data Security Platforms looks to creating an intelligent system that not only controls access of malign entities to the repositories and network to these big data systems, but also protects the integrity and accessibility of this valuable, extensive type of data. As well as business, public entities, governments, and non-governmental organizations also look into utilization of big data for security purposes. IBM Security Framework approach allows government agencies management to have real-time information, analytical correlation, and predictive threat management with one of the world's broadest, most advanced, and integrated portfolios of enterprise-class security products and services. IBM Security Framework. IBM Security Intelligence with Big Data provides excellent threat and risk evaluation. It combines security with analytical insights on a large scale. The approach of security intelligence with big data embeds big data into other systems. In other words, using big data analytics for securing big data warehouses. This analytical process studies trends within the data and acts as a prevention and detection tool by employing the following functions: analyze log flow, vulnerability, and user asset data through a single solution architecture. Identify high-risk threats with near real-time correlation and behavioral anomaly detection. Detect vulnerabilities and high-priority incidents among billions of data points. Gain full visibility in a network, application, and user activity. Automate regulatory compliance with collection, correlation, and reporting capabilities. IBM Security Framework. IBM Security approach uses 4 factors to make a secure system more efficient as depicted by this diagram. The first of these factors is availability, that includes analyzing the assets in motion within the system, understanding the access to the sources, and correct distribution of resources from sources to users of those assets. The second factor is monitoring activities to analyze security trends and normal functioning within the system. The third factor is detection, that includes discovering new types of threats in order to have a threat dictionary, while at the same time continually filtering and exposing vulnerabilities to prevent and fix internal breaches. The fourth factor is taking action, and this includes response to events in real time while detecting possible frauds and criminal activities within the system. Who provides big data analysis? The leaders in the information industry like Google, Amazon, IBM, Oracle, Microsoft, and a few more are providing analysis and management tools to handle big data. Currently, the biggest vendor of big data solutions is the technology juggernaut IBM. So now that you're aware of the vendors, the next question that should come to mind is, which companies utilize big data analytics and intelligence? The answer is many of the major corporations that we are familiar with. This would include Google, Facebook, Walmart, eBay, Amazon, etc. In fact, through the use of big data analytics, we found that Google was actually able to predict the severity of the flu season much faster than the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. The reasoning for all of this is because Google was able to process and analyze massive amounts of online searches regarding flu symptoms, treatments, vaccine locations, etc., all at a very fast speed. Other competitors. There are plenty of less expensive and even open source big data analytical systems out there for small or medium-sized businesses to use. Much of what is out there is based off the Apache Hadoop products, and even some of them have Hadoop products incorporated right into them. These include Pentaho, Oracle, SAS, Apache, and Tableau. Conclusion. All of the above are definitely advantages of IBM Big Data Solutions. However, There are several issues to this type of technology. First of all, the incredible performance required for having and maintaining such a big database requires a secure and sophisticated infrastructure. This infrastructure must provide processing and storage resources to provide support for the warehouse and for other applications running within the system. Smaller businesses will probably resort to products from less expensive vendors or even open source material. In addition, although it may have great use for big firms in terms of security and analysis, it may possibly lead to elimination of many jobs.
Thank you.